As an ecosystem, the Arctic is unique. Most importantly, it's the homeland of the polar bear, and we love polar bears. There are some Arctic islands where people are required by law to carry a gun while outside, for fear of polar bear attacks. But besides polar bears and ridiculous Canadian political parties, many things discovered in the Arctic are plainly mysterious. Robert Peary was an American explorer obsessed with the Arctic, to which he went on several expeditions around the turn of the century. He even attempted to reach the North Pole in 1906. He failed but claimed to discover a new island on the way. In fact, he said it was a giant floating continent near Greenland. News of the continent spread rapidly, but there were some who disputed it. In 1913, an expedition set out to find the continent, which now was called Crocoland. They went to the exact location described by Peary. They explored the whole area without success, but they did shoot and kill a native Inuit. Claiming the Inuit died in a blizzard, they got away with it. Crocoland was never found. Most today believe the whole thing was a hoax by Peary. Terrifying ancient viruses are being discovered in the Arctic. There is nothing new about disease, and some diseases that devastated the ancient world haven't been seen for generations. But as ice disappears from some Arctic areas, extremely deadly diseases are waking up capable of infecting humans. The problem is that we have no natural defense to these viruses as they've been trapped in ice for thousands of years. So the race is on for scientists to develop drugs to fight against diseases, some of which 30,000 years old. But some aren't that unknown. Last year, 20 people were hospitalized by anthrax. They were in a remote Arctic location, and it's unclear how this happened. It's possible infected reindeer died and were preserved in the ice only for the infection to recently be released. We only know for certain of one long-term Viking settlement in North America, but the recent discovery of Viking-style tools in Baffin Island might mean there was a second settlement there. The island is close to Greenland, which Vikings colonized for a long time. Their attempted colonization of Baffin makes sense. It's thought to be Helluland, an important island described in Viking sagas. The settlement seems to have been short-lived. It came after 50 years of searching for a second Viking outpost, and it makes experts wonder how much of the Arctic was colonized by the Vikings. Zeleny Yar is an ancient Arctic necropolis where medieval mummies are found in remarkable condition. Persian objects have been found with the graves, which gives us one of the few things we know about them. Experts believe they belong to a lost Arctic civilization with links to Persia. DNA testing on the bodies failed, so we don't know what their ethnic origin is. Many of them had their skulls crushed, so that's weird. It could be a medieval civilization forgotten by history, but we'll probably never know for sure. In northern Canada, native hunters have reported hearing strange noises coming from the Arctic seafloor. When enough reported hearing it, local government requested the military investigate the noise. Known as the Mystery Ping, military aircraft failed to detect the noise at all, but many swear the ping was heard, including major political figures. So this leaves them asking what it was and why it was short-lived. Some think it was caused by secret Russian submarines. Others think it could be explained by the movement of ice sheets, which is known to cause all kinds of noises. Crazy people say it's the sound of an ancient demon awakening to destroy humanity. It's said that in the 1300s, an English priest went further north than anyone else ever had before, far into the Arctic Circle. On his return, he described some amazing discoveries. He told of a massive whirlpool surrounding the North Pole, which he described as a magnetic island. A 33-mile-wide dark rock is how Rupes Nigra was described. That's the magnetic island he claimed all compasses point towards. It's a phantom island that for a long time was depicted on European maps. He also described 4 small continents surrounding the island. But the book he wrote detailing his discoveries, which he presented to the crown, disappeared in the 1400s. No trace of it has ever been seen since. In 1930, Joe LaBelle made national news within Canada when he reported the disappearance of an entire village. As a traveller, he was familiar with the small Inuit village in a remote Arctic region. But one day, on visiting the area, the natives were gone. In fact, he discovered the entire village was missing. LaBelle was distraught. In his own words, "I felt immediately something was wrong. In view of half-cooked dishes, I knew they had been disturbed during the preparation of dinner. In every cabin, I found a rifle leaning beside the door, and no Eskimo goes anywhere anywhere without his gun. Most dismissed his whole story, but there is some evidence that investigators found recently abandoned native houses. It's really difficult to know what is true. The Arctic Circle is always giving us new specimens of ancient life, many of which from long extinct species. In fact, the oldest life on Earth has been discovered in the Arctic. It's about 4 billion years old, in the form of microfossils found on Canadian rocks, which happen to be the oldest rocks ever seen on Earth. It's changed how the history of life is viewed. It was thought the planet 4 billion years ago would have been inhospitable for life. Last September, a mysterious 19th century ship was discovered at the bottom of Arctic waters. Preserved under the ice, it's been identified as the HMS Terror. She was a bomb vessel built for war, but used in an ill-fated Arctic expedition, during which she was abandoned and lost. Apparently, losing a ship is easier than it sounds, and it was only found 168 years later, when experts followed Inuit oral history. For generations, local natives had passed down a tale of a sunken ship. When they led experts to the location of the stories, the ship was found. What appears to be a secret Nazi outpost has been discovered in Alexandraland, a ridiculously remote Russian island. The Arctic conditions have preserved fragments of a weather station, with ammunition and scientific instruments being found. They monitored the climate and sent information back to Germany, so that battle plans can be aligned with weather conditions. Life at the outpost was brutal. After running low on supplies and resorting to eating polar bear meat, which I definitely don't approve of, they fell sick and had to be evacuated. The base was destroyed soon after, as the Nazis realized Russian weather was never going to be on their side. So that's the end of this video. If you want to support this channel, you can do so simply by leaving a like. And if you want more content from me, I have a second channel where I do different videos about different things.